The way they came about calling us Crain and Sons was during the Sanford and Sons days.
Okay.
I was afraid of dead people.
Right.
But you gotta keep it cute. You
do.
can't panic.
Right.
When you in the funeral industry, in anything you do, you do not panic.
You don't.
As we try to navigate these waters, we always have to go to God, and He tells us how to do the things that we need to do to help everybody.
Right.
It is a ministry. If you don't love this business, you don't need to be in it.
Correct.
If you don't love people, you don't need to be in it.
Definitely. Welcome back to LJ's Mortie Morty Show, where I'm your host, Treyowna Veal. I'm a licensed funeral director here in Louisiana and in Balmer. So today on our show, y'all, we have two special guests. And y'all gonna be surprised who they are. They are two ladies, two powerhouse ladies in the funeral industry. So you know the show is all about life, death, and everything in between. And I'm sure today we're going to be talking about life, death, and everything in between. So the two powerhouse ladies that I have today, they are Washington Parish's finest funeral ladies, funeral home industry ladies, y'all. So I'm going to let them tell you guys all about themselves. But in my book, I'm going to go ahead on and give them the Honorable Mention Award for funeral home ladies in the funeral industry. So today we have Miss Aisha McGee and we have Miss Louisiana Patrice Crain. So welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank
for having us.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for coming on.
Oh yes, it's a joy.
Y'all look so good.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Every day.
Right. They not twins, y'all, but they look so much alike. They are sisters, best friends. So we're gonna see if we can get some of these questions answered.
Okay.
So my first question for Miss Patrice, could you tell me the name of the funeral home is Crain and Sons Funeral Home?
Yes.
I don't see any sons. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, I can. The way they came about calling us Crain and Sons was during the Sanford and Sons days.
Okay.
And so I told my dad, I said, Daddy, we didn't start off as a funeral home. We started off as Crain and Sons Amusement and Investments. We started in a pool hall.
Okay, all right.
As a pool hall. And so I said, Daddy, you're leaving out Mommy and me.
Right.
And so he was like, no. Talking to his brothers, saying that, well, sons would be the same thing as, that would include the daughters, Yes.
So y'all gonna be the Crains?
We'll cry. Well, no,
Y'all
he
the
meant that sons
Okay, all right.
would include daughters.
The daughters. Yeah.
But I told
Come on,
him,
Miss Girl.
yes, men. But it was Sanford and Son days. So we just gave them that, and they called it Crain and Sons. And my dad had two sons that he thought would keep the business going on. And initially he did. They were all in the funeral industry. And that gave me the ingenuity to leave the family business because they called it Crain and Sons.
Exactly.
So I went on and found my own avenue of life.
Okay, all right.
But what happened, the sons passed away.
Gotcha.
Not together,
Right.
but at different times. And so that left him with the daughters. But
Right.
we are attached to the name. We're not changing it. I told him Crain and Family, but it didn't have that ring like Crain and Sons. So that's how we became Crain and Sons.
So I would say, y'all, to y'all viewers, when we're speaking about Crain and Sons and what they're all about in the funeral industry, they really have faced their own loved ones that they're lost, and that's why they are so good at being able to provide services for the funeral industry, because they have suffered their own losses in their lives. So my next question is going to be for Miss Aisha.
Wani.
But before, right, or Wani, better known as Wani, so everybody know Aisha as Wani, and it's hard for me to keep saying Aisha, so we just gonna say Wani.
Right.
And Lawana is actually Patrice. Everybody know it's Patrice. So my question for you, Miss Aisha, is: did funeral industry choose you, or did you choose the funeral industry?
Well, funeral industry chose me.
Okay.
Because originally I went to school for physical therapy.
Okay.
So I wanted to do physical therapy after my mom had surgery on her knees, and I was going to the therapist with her and learning how to do things. So I was like, oh, I could do this. I love this. I love talking to people.
Right.
I can handle this.
Right.
So went to physical therapy. Going to school at LSU. Went there. Then that's when Stefan passed, my brother. So once he passed, then Daddy was like, "Why don't you try to change careers? Then
Trying to wheel in now.
Yeah, let's go in the funeral industry first, and then you could go back if you don't like it." I'm like, "Okay, you know, I'm good because I've grown up in this industry, being around the funeral home all my life, so it was nothing." So we went, and then I think what really inspired me to work in the funeral industry, like, because you can just go to school and be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be around it, and not really love it.
Absolutely.
But when Stefan passed, I remember like his funeral, when all the funeral directors came in, and they were just like so caring and loving, and was like, what do you need? And I was like, oh my goodness, like this could be the industry that I can be in, you know?
I told y'all.
And so it was the love, and I'm like, okay, I want my families to feel comfortable, love, ease, no stress. So I mean, that's how I really got into it. And I was like, I want to thank those directors out there, because that really inspired me to be who I am today.
Absolutely. Good answer. So now I got to ask Patrice the same question. I kind of know, so let me just say, I've been knowing these ladies for probably since 2015. So I kind of know a little story because we talked off and on here and there, but y'all don't know them. So I got to ask the question, right? So I'm going to ask you the same question. Did the funeral industry choose you, or did you choose the funeral industry?
The funeral industry chose me.
Okay.
Because, like I said before, they called it Crain and Sons, so I said, well, I need to get my own thing.
Right.
And do my own thing. But I used to drive people around, you know, picking them up in the family cars, and I would counsel them.
Okay.
And so that led me to my career as a psychologist.
Okay, gotcha.
And I loved it. I became a certified school psychologist, and I worked with East Baton Rouge Parish Schools. Then I went into prisons and mental health facilities with special school district. Right. So, which, you know, I can't even believe I did that, because I never wanted to be locked in, but I could get. They had the keys to get me out, so I was okay.
That makes a difference now. That's a difference.
But I loved it. I love working with people and trying to help them figure out different ways to deal with their different situations.
Gotcha.
So what happened, we had a lot of deaths in my family. My dad died. My mom died first. No, Marshall died. Marshall died first. He died like in January. Then I had my dad's sister die in February. Then my mom died in May.
Wow, the same year?
The same year. This is back to back.
And
what year was that?
We had an uncle died in March too.
2007.
Okay.
And so I was, and then I had another uncle who was my dad's best friend that was dying.
Gotcha.
And so because of all of that, my dad was showing signs of depression. And my sister, it was just a lot of felt that was on her shoulders. Right. And so I just prayed and I asked the Lord to guide me, and because I love my job so much, I walked out on faith, and they wouldn't give me a sabbatical. Okay. And so I quit. I said, I don't have to you know, they didn't
know who you were for one. You know, like, look, I don't have to come back. Y'all need to help me, or I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So
and the thing about it is, I was afraid of dead people.
No.
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Yes, I was.
Were they scaring you when you
My
were
brothers
young?
used
Okay,
to try to put me in caskets and stuff and lock me in the casket room. Yeah. And we love horror flicks, so you know they used to do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, she came much later,
exactly.
so she didn't have all the the
you were the only girl at one time with all the boys, and I'm sure they tormented her or something.
Yeah, they did, but I had to man up.
You did.
So,
you did.
But and so when I got back, I was just like, well, I came to terms with the fact that I wasn't going back, but the Lord showed me that I could go back because I had different opportunities where people were asking me to be a psychologist in their area.
Okay.
So, but I wanted to be with my dad and my sister, and so I enjoy working with them. And he inspired me to be who I am.
Right.
My mom was she was a strong, independent woman.
Right. She was the anchor from what I hear. She was y'all's anchor.
She was.
Yeah.
And so when he left, she told us when she died, before she died, she was on hospice. And she said, I want you all to show people how to grieve.
Come on.
Because we had done everything that we could for her. And that inspired, she was a caregiver, and that inspired us to be caregivers.
Right.
And so we come from a very loving family, and so I don't regret a day that I came back to take care of my father. I had a good support system. My sister was there, and we never allowed people to divide us. Which happens a lot in death. And so it's after I started my first time picking up a body, I had to go by myself. The first time I went by myself.
Bless her heart.
These guys helped me.
They was there.
They were there. That was the first time. My dad didn't go with me. My dad would come with me, but when it's just me and my dad, and he was elderly.
Right.
It's just me. It's just me.
I'm doing it anyway. You just going for the ride.
Yeah. So, so I eventually, got over my fear, and because my brothers were no longer here to traumatize
me.
But then as I started working with the people, I realized psychology helped me to deal even more so with the population that I'm working with now. And so it's still the same thing. It's just I'm helping them deal with death more so than any other thing.
Most definitely. And so based off of what you just said, I'm more of a believer now than ever that the things we go through in life, it only just makes you better for what's to come next. You definitely was prepared for what you're doing now. And then I just gotta let the world know too. During my time here at Crain and Sons, well, I'm still here, but in the beginning, I love that they were so tight. The dad and the two girls, they were so tight. If I ask Mr. Briscoe something, y'all, we got to tell y'all about Mr. Briscoe too before it's over. Got to tell y'all a little bit about that. But, he always be like, let me talk to my daughters. Let me talk to my girls. They always gonna meet. They tight, boo. It's a lesson to all the funeral homes in Louisiana, across the world. You got to stay tight for it to be right. That's just how it is. So, good answer. Good answer, girl. All right. So now, my next question gonna be for Wani. You can do it. What is one of the most proudest moments in owning a business, being a business owner in the community? It can be any broad, but what is one of your proudest moments that you have had since you've been doing this?
Well, my proudest moment is when I became a licensed funeral director. And that was just the biggest thing for me. I made a lot of sacrifices before. I put a lot of things on hold so I could do what I needed to do for the business. And when I became a funeral director, it just really, it ignited a fire in me because I already know the industry. I already know what to do. But I couldn't legally do it because I didn't have the license.
Absolutely.
And so now I can have families come to me for advice. I can give them advice. And if I don't know, I'll tell them, oh baby, I don't know. Let me find out.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows all the answers.
And as being in the funeral industry, you should always, if you don't know something, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Correct.
You can ask questions, ask these other people, because there are a lot of people that have your best interests at heart.
Correct.
You got some people that are after you, but you got to be able to know who's genuine and who's not.
Right.
So
and there are some great areas in the funeral industry too.
Right.
So some of those things, I'm sure that's what she's talking about, the gray areas that you don't know, you don't encounter the same problem every single day. So you might forget, find out how somebody else handled it or whatever. So that's a good answer. And we like to also be proud of Miss Wani for passing her test, because first of all, that test is not for the faint at heart.
Right.
Let's be clear. You almost got to be a lawyer and a doctor to pass it. I'm just gonna go ahead on and say.
Yes.
So she did that, and it's up. It's up from here. So thank you very much. You know. So now I got to ask Miss Patrice. I got to ask them, what is one of your most embarrassing moments that you ever had in the funeral industry? We can laugh about it now. Come on, girl, give me one. I got to hear.
I laugh about everything.
I understand, but tell me an embarrassing moment. I got to know.
Okay, I'm just trying to decide which one.
Right.
Which one? Well, one time, this was during the time when I was afraid of dead people. In our family, everybody works. And so I was in here vacuuming, and back then, we had big hair, so I had all these rollers in my head and everything, and the body was in here. And so I was just vacuuming away, and all of a sudden, I felt something tap me on the shoulder.
Oh my goodness.
And so I screamed, and everybody came running out of their offices and everything, and I was just like, oh my God. They were like, what's happening? What's happening? And then I went in, girl, my roller had fallen out my head.
That hair got you. Oh my God.
Don't estimate rollers.
I'm telling you. Especially when you're at the funeral home. And it's not like we don't know that, it's not possible for people to get up, but it's still like, some things you just don't know what's possible, know, so I get it. I don't want nobody to scare me either. Knock on the door, let me know you coming, so, because anything can happen.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. So, Bonnie, you want to tell us one of your most embarrassing moments?
Mine is not as good as Patrice, but one of my moments was I was on a funeral. We're getting ready. The pastor has called us in to come in and get ready to view the body. So we're walking. As we're walking down the aisle, my heel comes off the shoe. And I have a tall wedge on it. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I just was like, go ahead. I just smiled.
Exactly.
I turned, picked up my heel, walked with my imaginary heel on, and went and changed my shoes and came back in like nothing ever happened.
Exactly. So she had a wardrobe malfunction.
Right.
That can totally happen. That is
right. But you got to keep it cute. You can't panic.
Right.
When you in the funeral industry, and anything you do, you do not panic.
You don't.
Because if they see that the funeral director is panicking, everybody's like, oh my God, everybody's like all upset. But if you're calm, even though you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but as soon as you just work it out and you just keep it cool, right? Everything's
that
gonna
is
fall
true.
into place.
Funeral directors, we are known for just trying to keep everything in control,
right?
And keep poised, and I mean that's the look we going for. So we're gonna try to be cool, even though all kind of stuff that happen. But
and it's not easy. It's a lot of people don't understand that it's a lot of things that go on at funerals. I mean, you got cars breaking down, you got people getting lost,
right?
You have people catching attitudes with you when you just doing your job,
exactly,
and you really just trying to keep it professional and do everything right. And you're doing a service for your family,
right? We really could do a show on us telling y'all what not to do at the funeral.
Right.
We really could do a whole segment on that.
Could.
But we don't just listen to what she said, all that stuff be happening.
Yes.
So, at this moment, we're going to take a break to hear from our sponsors. Thank you.
Letter to the 8-year-old. The reason why I wrote this book was a friend of mine one day, we were on a vacation together and she was asking me questions, and at the end of this conversation there were a lot of tears, and she said, you need to write that little girl a letter. And the letter turned into a book. I started writing and she just told me, don't stop. And it ended up being an 8-chapter book, and it's on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Nobles. It's even on Target.com. It is a story of truth. It is a story of faith. It's a story of healing. And the greatest part about this book was I wrote this book for me, but I got letters from women who read my book who said I changed their lives because they started to look at their lives differently and started to heal themselves from just what they read and learning my process. I am not an expert in any way, form, or fashion. It was just how I thought my healing should go, and it ended up helping someone else. So it was really important that I wrote this book, and I don't even know why it was important at the time, but it healed my soul. And somehow it ended up working and healing some other people. So sometimes when you have that thought of something greater than yourself, go with it, because you never know what that looks like in the end. So yeah, the book is called Letter to the 8-Year-Old Me. Please check it out. I think you'll like it.
All right, so y'all, any future plans to expand? I know you don't, wait a minute, I don't want y'all to tell the people any surprises that you guys may have for the community or anything, but tell us if you just gonna stay on them necks or if you gonna expand. Just give us a list on what's the future plans, what y'all got for us, for the people.
Right now we're not talking expansion, but we're talking about improving.
Okay.
And doing different things and trying different things. So
okay.
That's how you have to wait and see.
All right. You gotta be here to see it. You're gonna have to come and see it.
That doesn't mean y'all just look at the website and just try to come to the funeral just see what we're gonna do, but
exactly.
To each his own.
Exactly. You gotta do what you gotta do. So I'm gonna ask Wani. Tell me, I'm gonna ask them both, but I want Wani to go first. I don't know, it's something about me that I like the baby to go first. Cause the big girl, the oldest one, she already, it ain't,
she's a little more poor. She got it.
Yeah, I know she I know she already, got it all together. Not that they don't both, but I just like picking on the baby for some reason.
I'm not
she should be used to it.
Yes,
right? Yeah. So, what are some of the myths in the funeral industry that you want to just demolish?
Oh goodness.
A myth, like I'm gonna give you an example. Life insurance. People do not like buying life insurance because they feel like it's gonna make somebody rich. It might make somebody rich if you get enough of it, you know what I'm saying? But more than likely, you probably get enough to bury yourself so nobody want to be in distress and having to sell plates and stuff to get you buried. But that is one myth that I would totally like to just demolish.
Can I expand on that?
Yes.
Okay, so with life insurance, there's term life insurance. And whole life.
Correct. Come on now.
Life insurance.
Come on.
So I prefer whole life because just like it says, it's for your whole life.
Whole one.
Okay, so but term is just for a certain period of time, like it might be for 20 years.
Correct.
So it's a gamble. So you got to die within those 20 years. That's how you got to look at it.
Exactly.
Now, at the end of the 20 years, they're supposed to guarantee you insurability, which means they're supposed to sell you a whole life policy so that you can continue to have insurance. However, when you're younger, insurance rates are cheaper.
Come on.
And so if you would have gotten the whole life at the beginning, it wouldn't be as expensive, because when you're younger, you don't have as many issues. You know, you may not have diabetes, you may not have hypertension. You may
just your age alone, but you're already in another bracket.
Right. So, and I've had many people sitting across my desk because their loved one turned out maybe 3 months prior to their death, and they didn't realize that they were no longer insured, and that then that company failed to guarantee them insurance, or no one called them, because nowadays the turnover rate for insurance agents is high. And so the agent that initially sold the insurance to them may no longer be working with them, and so they don't have that personal contact. And so they may make a mistake, and they may not have insurance.
And then when they get those letters in the mail, you know, you have to be on it. You really do have to be on it, because I'm more than sure that you got a letter in the mail stating that you're about to be canceled. So you just got to pay attention to stuff like that, you know.
And if you don't understand it, bring it to the funeral home. I've had people come and talk to me about it, and what people don't understand is we can't take your insurance. Even when you come on a service or to come for funeral arrangements, people think they don't want to show you their insurance.
Come on.
And so if that's how you're going to pay for your funeral, we're going to have to see your insurance.
And she cannot take no more than you agree about. You guys get to pick the casket and pick the type of service you want. And it doesn't matter if you got $1 million or if you have 10. If you agree to that price, that's it. Whether they know how much you have or not. You know, so that's 2 myths in one. You know what I'm saying? So,
and some people are scared because they've had bad experiences. Again, that everybody doesn't have your best interest at heart. Some people try to get out to hurt other people. And they just in it for the money. They don't have a love for the industry. And that's why some people, when they're worried like that, it's our job as funeral directors or funeral homes to ensure those people, hey, look, transparency is the best way. You're in there with us. This is what your service is. You're listening to the conversation. So you see that they're not trying to do anything behind your back.
And just ask questions, y'all.
Ask any questions. As my mother always said, no question is a dumb question.
That's correct. And that's
you
still
gotta
true
ask
today.
It. If you don't know, everybody hasn't been in an arrangement or made funeral arrangements.
Because you only make, the statistical number is 2 per lifetime. You might be on your first one. So you know you don't know the answers to the question. So
that's what I always here for. Write it down. If you don't know, if you think of something, write it down.
Most definitely.
So you can call, or when you come in and ask these questions, you can get an honest answer. And again, if we don't know the answer, we will find out the answer for you.
Absolutely.
And another thing with insurance, some families will come in and they've spoken with their agent and they said that, I've already verified it. Well, we have to verify it. Because sometimes they say that they're insured, but they've had less than 2 years, and they say they're in benefit. They may be in benefit, but not in full benefit.
That's the myth.
That's a myth. They say, we're gonna pay you, but they're gonna pay you your premiums that you paid in plus whatever percentage that company.
And the funeral home cannot take an assignment out on premiums. It has to be the benefit amount that they can take an assignment out. And this insurance topic, y'all, could go on for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
We're not gonna keep on, but
but it's important. Because you know, we just really need to be on our insurance game, y'all, because it's very important. We all going to pass away. We all gonna pass away. That's why we always say you got to plan your funeral, pay for your funeral, and then you live your life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's over with. It's done. Now we living. We, you know, we on the cruise ship. We having fun.
Mm-hmm. But now, if we don't have to see your insurance,
Right?
if you have cash.
Yes.
So
yes.
I mean,
Preach.
right. So we're not just there. Everybody's thinking, well, they want our insurance. They want our insurance.
No, we don't.
No, we just need to be paid.
Correct.
Because we want to guarantee paying our employees
Absolutely.
and the people that you ask to put in the bill.
Exactly.
And so it's not a thing about us trying to see what you have.
Right.
If you want us to help you with our company, we'll help you even though you've paid us. We'll help you file your claims and everything.
Exactly. So while we on that topic and you said that, could you tell the people why do you think people think funerals are so expensive?
I think that people believe that funerals are so expensive because when someone passes away, they're already upset, and then there have been gossipers, people who've been gossiping about the funeral industry who do not understand what is all involved in taking care of your loved one. All the things that we have to do, with pickups and all the laws that we have to keep in check.
Correct.
And so they're not really understanding that we are professionals.
Correct.
And so as professionals, they need to pay us for being professionals.
Correct.
And we don't try to, our firm doesn't try to gut you. We just try to, we're making a living.
Absolutely. It's the cost of the funerals.
Right.
You guys are not overselling.
Right.
You're not underselling yourself. It's the cost across the board.
Right.
This is one of the funeral homes that's in Washington Parish that is not above and not below. They are at the cost. Open 365 days a year. All day, all night. When somebody call y'all's phone, y'all have to answer.
Right.
Somebody got to pay for that. And all of that fee that you see is wrapped up into, like she said, picking up, embalming, the actual funeral, the hearse, the limo, the building, the equipment, the paperwork. It's a lot that goes into it. And it's like, if you got $1 million and you are looking at a Toyota, a small car, you might say it's not that expensive to you. But if you don't have a lot of money, that car could be that expensive to you.
Right.
So you have to have life insurance so you can make sure you have to get what you need, you guys. So.
And another thing is a lot of people, like, we encourage people, if they have questions about things, call your funeral home.
Right.
Call them and say, hey, what is the cost of a service now?
Correct.
Because back then it could have been like $800 or something like that.
Exactly.
But now it's not like that. A few years ago, you could get a good service for $5,000.
Right.
A lot of times it's not like that. Just like eggs and chicken and all that stuff went up, everything goes up. And you have to adjust with the time.
Right.
Nobody works for free.
Nobody.
If these people, they're all working, they want money on their job.
Absolutely.
And they got to understand that, we have employees, you got insurance.
Right.
We're trying to cover everything. And we're on call, like you said, 24 hours a day. We're answering our phone round the clock.
Absolutely.
We have to be happy all the time. And sometimes we're going through things too, and people don't understand.
Absolutely.
The funeral home, we go through things.
Right.
But then we're here to service you.
Absolutely.
So we have to kind of put ourselves on the back burner so we can help you and be there for you.
Right.
And the funeral industry is a ministry and a brotherhood.
Correct.
Right, it is.
All funeral homes should really be working together. And that's what we like. You should be working together. Say, hey, if I'm out of this, can you help me?
Right.
Sure.
Right.
It shouldn't be, to me now, in my eyes, shouldn't be a cost for anything. Hey, just replace this when you get it, or just bring this back when you get it.
Exactly.
We should be helping one another.
Absolutely.
We shouldn't be going against each other And a lot of people have the misconception that they want to, oh, well, I went here and this is what they told me. And so what are you going to do? It's not like that.
Right.
If that's where you want to go, that's fine.
Absolutely.
Everybody has their own opinion.
Absolutely.
So everybody, they do things differently.
Right. Everybody does. And to the public, you are free to go wherever you choose to go.
Right.
You cannot go somewhere and say, another funeral home offered me this and this is what I want for that. Everybody got their own service, their own everything, own individuality. So at the end of the day, they are here to provide a service, and ministry, like she said. So you're gonna win. You're gonna win with that. So y'all, I told y'all, these are Briscoe Juniors. We have not talked about Mr. Briscoe not one time, maybe a little bit, right? But I gotta say, when I first got here in 2015, it was Mr. Briscoe and the girls. So he was a little short man, and he was the funeral home owner, and he just ran everybody. We all had to just listen to what he said, and he did what he wanted to do, and we had to go along with it, right? So I'm gonna show y'all a picture of Mr. Briscoe, and y'all just gonna have to imagine what we all went through. But it was fun. It was fun. So tell the people, you guys, a little bit about Mr. Briscoe.
My dad was fearless.
Yes.
He would try anything. We've had a pool hall. He put through dances for kids in the neighborhood.
Come on.
My mama would be in the kitchen fixing hot dogs and selling hot dogs. And they would let the kids come to the dance because they knew my mama and daddy were gonna be there. And so he had the cleaners and everything. He did that just to help out his best friend's and cousin's widow because he passed away. And so he just tried. If he wanted to, if he thought it, he tried it. And my mom supported him.
Correct.
And he was a brilliant entrepreneur. But one thing I can really say about him, he's a good teacher. And he didn't any idea I had, he said, try it. Try it. And I would talk to him about, what I should do with this, what I should do. He would be like, I would ask for his advice, and he'd say, well, what would you do?
Right.
And then
no idea, tell me.
Right. And so if it's wrong, then he'll let me make my mistakes. And then he said, well, I would have done it this way.
Right.
But you never know unless you try. And my father's philosophy has always been that it's okay to fail as long as you try, but it's not okay not to try because that makes you a failure.
Right.
So he loved the funeral industry. My dad was a teacher. He was he went into he graduated in sociology.
Okay.
And so he became a teacher at Vernon High School where he met my mom. Scandal.
Right. Listen, that's old news,
But there's no love that they didn't. No other love like theirs.
Absolutely.
And he was a waiter in college, and so when he got his first check as a teacher, he said, Lord, I promise you, if you get me out of this, I will never teach again.
Come on.
Because what he made in 1 month as a teacher, he made in tips one night.
Wow.
And so he was just like devastated.
I bet.
And he wasn't even married then.
Right.
So he got into the insurance business.
Yes.
And then he started working under his uncle. Who was a Robert Tucker.
Okay.
And so that's how he started at Tucker's Mortuary
in Bogalusa.
In Bogalusa. That's where he started. So he used to drive down there every day. And after he started his own corporation, he bought Kentwood, the funeral home in Kentwood.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about all the other places.
I was little.
Yeah, she was a little girl. We're 13 years apart.
Yes.
So that's another story for another day.
We can
but
talk about that too.
I love her.
Yeah.
after Kentwood, somebody asked him to open up a place or keep a place going in Hammond. So we operated a funeral home in Hammond for some time.
Right.
And then we had he found this place in Franklinton, which was like a dream to him.
Right, because you guys lived in Franklinton.
We did. And so he had so when he opened here, not long after that, he was able to buy out his uncle in Bogalusa. So Tucker's mortuary became Crain and Sons.
Right.
So it's like he really came full circle.
Right.
But he has always had a love for the industry, but his mother tried to talk him out of it. And that's why he went into sociology.
Gotcha.
And so but he still came right back to what he loved.
Right.
He had a love for people. He said one of his sayings is, "You can't be God given."
Absolutely.
And anything that he could do for somebody, he did.
Right.
He loved his family unconditionally.
And to add to that, now Mr. Briscoe has also told me nobody gave him nothing. I know, I know, in Washington Parish that could be what everybody's thinking, but he literally did everything on his own. He told me before, if you take care of your money gonna take care of you.
Right.
And it's been times that he'll say a single woman always need at least $100 in their car.
That's right.
He always told me that. And some days he'll be like, "Give me your car keys." I don't know if they know about that or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that was my buddy. He loved me too. Yeah. So he'll give my car keys, go to the car, and put me $100 in the sun visor. And then I don't even know, I'll be riding around with $100 in the car, for weeks and didn't even know it. But that's just in case something happened, you get stranded, you a woman, you at least got $100 in the sun visor, So let me tell you, Mr. Briscoe was the bomb. He was just everybody's dad around here, and
everybody came to him for advice.
Right.
He was always the advice person. They were like, "Oh, Mr. Crain, what do I need to do this?" He'll tell them how to do it and what they need to do.
Right.
So being a teacher was just really good, and that's what really helped us to be able to teach other people and show other people things, because he laid the foundation.
Right.
And he was just straightforward. Now don't make him mad.
Right.
Woo, you get him upset.
Yes.
Oh, that's a whole other ballgame.
Yeah.
He's sweet, and he was short in stature
and funny
and very funny.
Yeah.
Had a joke all the time.
All the time.
So but you get him upset. But he would always say, "You never cheat a dead person."
That's right.
He said, "You never cheat them. You always do what you need to do for that person." And it didn't matter if they had $500 or if they had $1 million.
That's right.
You treat everybody the same. You give them all the top service and the quality of service, because that's somebody's loved one.
Absolutely.
And you have to treat people like they're your loved one. Like, I'm going to look at this person. If this is my mom, my dad, my sister, and brother, I'm going to go to war for them when everybody else is trying to turn against them.
Absolutely. So y'all, you cannot be around greatness, be around goodness, be around such an entrepreneur, be around somebody all your life and not get nothing.
Right.
So clearly these two sisters right here, they had got the best of the best, because especially when I came around, he was in it. He finished working. Y'all can do the work, but he was talking them through everything. So listen, Crain and Sons in Franklinton, Louisiana is the place to be if you need their service. So before we go, y'all, do anybody have any final words that you want to tell the people, or anything that you want to say, to the people out here?
I'd like to say that in everything you need to keep God first.
Come on now, preacher.
In this type of business, we see a lot of evil things that occur. And we see a lot of backbiting and all of that, which we try to diffuse.
Right.
But as we try to navigate these waters, we always have to go to God, and He tells us how to do the things that we need to do to help everybody.
Right.
It is a ministry. If you don't love this business, you don't need to be in it.
Correct.
If you don't love people, you don't need to be in it.
Definitely.
Because this is when you get to work with someone. It's a privilege when you get to work with someone when they're going through a lot, and to be that anchor for them when they're going through it.
Absolutely.
Is a blessing.
Right, and that tells a lot about yourself if you're taking advantage of somebody while they're already going through their worst.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys definitely, nobody wants that image, but you understand the importance of being that person for people. So I get it. I really do. What you got, Wani?
Well, I will also say what I do is, and she knows, every day, every morning before, just when I wake up, I pray. I pray all day. I got my own line.
You got to.
I got my own line to the Lord.
Right.
But before a funeral, I always say, I ask the Lord to use me as His vessel, so that I can help somebody and show them how He's good, even though you're going through a bad situation.
Right.
I love the industry. I try to teach my kids the industry.
Right.
I want them to love it as much as I did. We crawled under the caskets, we grabbed people's ankles and all this kind of thing, and we grew up in the funeral home, and it was fun. But then when you grow up and you see like how much you can help somebody, how much you could be there for somebody. Sometimes people just need a hug. They just need somebody to talk to. And you just need to be there to be saying, it's okay.
Right.
It's all right. It's okay to grieve how you want to grieve.
Absolutely.
And I always tell people, don't let anybody tell you how to grieve.
Right.
Everybody grieves different.
Everybody.
But you just gotta be the one. Once you start grieving, the grieving process actually starts after the funeral. You got all those people, everything's done, all those people are gone, the calls have stopped. That's the part when you start grieving, and that's when you need somebody. That's when you actually need the Lord on your side to help guide you and lead you.
Right.
So in this industry, you do need the Lord, because He's gonna show you the way. A lot of times my problem is I want to move too fast, and He tells me, back up, girl.
Right.
Shut up, girl. Let me handle it.
Exactly.
And I be like, okay, Lord, I hear you. I see you. You right. You right. I'm going to back up. And then everything just falls right into place.
Well, that's a good answer. I really enjoyed talking to the Crain sisters from Crain and Sons Funeral Home, you guys. And I want y'all to like the channel, subscribe, and come check us out. And you will be hearing more from Crain and Sons Funeral Home ladies. Trust me. Thank you.
I am a Navy recruiter. My current position is I am the Outreach and Diversity Manager for Navy Recruiting. What that means is I travel all over the United States finding minorities to give $200,000 scholarships to. These scholarships are really important for our community, and unfortunately a lot of times we don't know about them. These scholarships are the most amazing thing that the Navy could have ever offered. We even pay for medical school. So if you know somebody who's looking to go to college and wants to serve, we have a $200,000 scholarship for them with a stipend of $750 for their books, and they get a monthly stipend as they attend college. And we have HBCUs. We have 19 HBCUs under this program with 150 other colleges under the NROTC scholarship. If they don't have the SAT scores that we're looking for our national scholarships, we have a preparatory program. So if you have a daughter, cousin, niece, uncle, whoever that may be interested in a scholarship, please have them call us and come see us. We have so many that go unclaimed every year because our community does not know about these programs. So I hope that this information gets to you and you know somebody that's interested. If you're interested in these scholarships, you can go to netc.navy.mil. That's netc.navy.mil, and you can apply for these scholarships.